we back, ladies and gentlemen, with a brand new video. Today is about to be a little bit weird because I really don't have a direction that I want to go with this video. I kind of want to sit back, relax, and talk about hoops. Now, usually when I record videos, I know like, okay, I'm going to go to this Instagram page, answer all these questions, or I'm going to do this rebuild, or I'm going to do one from every team. But today, I just want to sit back, relax, and talk about stuff that's going around the league. So this is going to be a hard video for me to title, but hopefully you clicked on this regardless of what the title is. Let's get to the first thing I really want to talk about. Now, the first thing is kind of like a question for y'all to answer. Are the Pacers the real deal? Are they really a contender in the Eastern Conference? Because now that LeBron is not there and the Cavs are trash, we knew there was going to be a multiple team race between the Raptors, between the Celtics, between the 76ers, and now the Bucks are playing really well. But a team that many people may not be talking about are the Pacers. Right now on a 7-game win streak, beating up on some bad teams, but also got quality wins against like the 76ers, and then they beat up on the Bucks. Are the Pacers the real deal? I mean, if you ask me, they have a legitimate star in Victor Oladipo, and a lot of these wins that they tallied off were without Victor Oladipo, which means a lot more. But Victor Oladipo, a legit star. They got off the bench Domantas Sabonis, who's playing like a 6th man of the year. And in the last couple games, Miles Turner has showed up on the offensive side of the ball, putting up like 20 points. Like, is this team a team we should be really talking about potentially winning the Eastern Conference? I don't know the answer to it, but I think it just makes the entire Eastern Conference way better. Now we basically have a 4 to 5 team race to see who is really the king of the Eastern Conference, and I love it. The Pacers have been doing their thing. Tomorrow they go against the Cavaliers, which should be a win, but I'm not going to automatically chalk it up as a W because anything can happen in the NBA. And then they go against the Raptors. Now that game is going to be super important for me to answer that question, are the Pacers the real deal? So, I guess only time will tell. So the next thing comes from an Instagram post that made me want to talk about this team. D'Angelo Russell and Jared Allen will eventually become an elite duo. I'm going to disagree with this because now that they signed Spencer Dinwiddie to this multiple-year deal, which shout out to Spencer Dinwiddie for getting that bag. I've been a fan of Spencer Dinwiddie since 2015. I had to go back on my old tweets. When the Bulls signed him, then released him, then signed him again, I was like, this guy, he may be decent somewhere down the line, but they got rid of him, and then the Pistons got rid of him, and I'm happy he's finally got a place in the NBA and now a long-time contract. But now that the Brooklyn Nets put this money into Spencer Dinwiddie, now it's a big question mark of what happens to D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell is still only 22, going to be 23 by the end of the season. And we know that he's a decent NBA player. And the point guard position in the NBA is one that usually takes years upon years upon years to really develop to a player to his full potential. But personally, I believe that since they signed Spencer Dinwiddie, D'Angelo Russell may not be a part of the Brooklyn Nets at the end of the season. He is a restricted free agent, and he's good enough for teams that need a point guard to be like, here, D'Angelo, here's 15, here's $20 million a year, come to us, and we'll get you that starting spot, and you can, continue to rebuild your career. And then now that they put this money into Spencer Dinwiddie, maybe the Nets are like, you know what? We're not going to match that $20 million, so D'Angelo, good luck on your future endeavors. Teams like the Orlando Magic or teams like the Phoenix Suns may be willing to throw D'Angelo Russell some big money this offseason because he's super young and we know that he can hoop. The guy, he got ice in his veins. We know this. So I think the Brooklyn Nets signed it like, yo, Spencer Dinwiddie is our point guard for our next stage, and D'Angelo Russell may not be. We may even get to the point where D'Angelo Russell may be even traded by the end of the season because, again, his draft stock or his trade stock may be decently high because he is only 22 and he's averaging decent numbers. I think that the Brooklyn Nets, Sean Marks, who runs the whole team right now as far as a GM, he's a very smart guy. I know he has a plan, but he's got to sit back and relax and kind of wait and see what that plan is. Best to worst point guards from the 2017 draft, rank them A to D. This is going to be super fun. So obviously, De'Aaron Fox should be number 1 this year. He has been incredible. Again, he might be him. Pascal Siakam have emerged as 2 of my favorite players in the NBA to watch. Last night was an incredible game between him and Luka Doncic, and I tweeted this, and you should be following me on Twitter, but I want to see this as a rivalry for years to come because both players have some super bright futures and super fun to watch. But De'Aaron Fox, out of the 2017 draft class so far, is the best. Next, I think I'm going to go Lonzo Ball number 2. Now, obviously, Lonzo Ball's shooting efficiency isn't great, but on the defensive side of the ball, Lonzo Ball is unmatched. I know last night he kind of got towed out by John Wall, but it's John Wall. John Wall does that sometimes. But every other game before this, he had been locking up on players, opposing point guards, and he has been doing so good on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know if his offense will ever come around, but that defense is enough for me to like him. Next, I'm going to go with Dennis Smith Jr., obviously, because Markelle Fultz is last, because we really don't have anything to say about Markelle. Other than, he hasn't really played, obviously, with the injuries and everything. Is it mental? Is it physical? It seems like it's physical, but could it also be mental? So he's going to be last. De'Aaron Fox, Lonzo Ball, Dennis Smith Jr., and then Markelle. James Harden is the best in the league at drawing fouls, without a doubt. But I don't really enjoy it, all right? I don't like watching the Houston Rockets play, because when James Harden is shooting 18 to 20 free throws like he did against the Lakers a few nights ago, it's not super exciting. But everything else about his game is super exciting. He's hitting that step back three. Even though if it may be 3 to 4 steps, it's still exciting to watch. It's just the drawing fouls thing's not. But I kind of say it is impressive. It's impressive that he can draw the foul at this rate, because every official in the league knows that James Harden, he's going to try to draw this foul, but he's doing such a good job at it that you have to call it. So it's impressive. I don't like watching it. He may be the best at drawing fouls in NBA history, in the history of the NBA. I got to talk about the Nuggets. Coming into the season, I mentioned that I believe that they're going to be a team to win 50-plus games, and so far they're on pace, and right now they are the #1 team in the Western Conference by record. But y'all know how the Western Conference goes. They can lose next game and be number 3, or win a couple more games and still not have that much of an edge. But the reason I want to talk about them is because they have so many injuries, and they've put together so many wins with those injuries. We talk about Gary Harris missing some time. We talk about Will Barton, Isaiah Thomas, Michael Porter Jr. Now we got Paul Millsap out, Jared Vanderbilt. They have 6 players on their roster that are injured, and somehow they're still figuring out ways to win games. Last night they beat the Toronto Raptors, but it's kind of we don't want to look too much into that, because Kyle Lowry missed the game, and then we had Pascal Siakam also not playing, but still a quality win. And then before that, they played against the OKC Thunder, who also have been hot this season, and beat them. I gotta say, Jokic is making me feel so much better, because now that they have so many injuries, he's like, okay, I gotta take more shots. And Nikola Jokic has always been a center to be like a playmaking first center. Like, he's one of the best. He is the best passing center in the league. But now that they have so many injuries, look at his last couple games. 26 points on about 20 shots. I'm not used to seeing Jokic throw up 20 shots. Then we got 24 points, 27 points, 24 points. He has been on a nice offensive tear in his right, and I like to see it. I like to see it a lot. They're going to have a very interesting team once everything comes together. Now, we got Coach Mike Malone. He's got a really hard decision to make, because Monte Morris, who is their backup point guard, has been incredible for them this year. He has the highest assist-to-turnover ratio in the league, which means that boy don't turn that ball over. He gets a lot of assists, and he very rarely turns the ball over. So he's their backup point guard right now. But then you got Isaiah Thomas coming back sometime. We still don't know when. Who gets the minutes? Are you giving it to Isaiah Thomas because he once upon a time was an MVP candidate? Or are you sticking out with the guy that has been good for you this year? I really don't know. I don't know what Mike Malone is going to do. I'm sure he'll figure it out, but I'm going to be watching when that time comes. I mean, I'm watching this team every time they play, because Nikola Jokic is so fun to watch. I've mentioned this before on the channel, but again, the channel's growing so much lately that I host an NBA podcast named Through the Wire. And on that's where I really talk about the big topics, like the trade we had a few nights ago, or the fact that Jabari Parker is no longer in the Bulls rotation, and he may get traded. I'll play you a very short clip of my reaction to the Jabari Parker news.
Do you care as a Bulls fan?
I wanted to see Chandler Hutchinson get 1 minute, so not really.
Right. I feel like the whole Bulls fandom just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Because when you talk about our future, he's not a part of it. $20 million. Like, no.
That was it. I just don't really care. But he can be super important to some team around this league, because if you did not know, the structure of Jabari Parker's contract is that there's 1 year guaranteed, that's this year, and the next year he can be completely off the books. People keep looking at it and saying, oh, Jabari Parker's getting paid $20 million, but he doesn't get paid that after this season. After this season, you ain't got to pick that up. So he can be very important to your favorite team, because a few years ago, so many players got overpaid. Nicholas Batum got $24 million a year. Tyler Johnson got $19 million a year. And the list goes on and on. Bismack Biyombo, Luol Deng, even though, that money's off the books or whatever. So if your favorite team trades for Jabari Parker and gives us back Tyler Johnson and a second-round pick or something like that, that puts your team in a good position for this free agency period. So you should be calling your GMs and telling them to call the Bulls. Yeah, call the Bulls and pick up Jabari Parker. That's not a scam, I promise. Within the next 5 years, Doncic will be the face of the NBA. As much as I love Doncic, I don't think he'll be the face of the NBA in 5 years, because in 5 years, Giannis will be 29 and the Anthony Davis will be 30. Those are just two examples of great NBA players that'll still be in their prime in 5 years. I know Doncic is going to be great. Like, he's good right now, and I don't know what he's going to look like in 5 years, but I know it's going to be good, but I don't think it's going to be good enough to be the face of the NBA. But he could be. And that's it. I thank you for getting to this point in the video. I really don't know what this was, but I enjoyed just talking randomly about stuff that's going on around the league. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave it a like. Follow me on the socials, always in the description. This has been Kenny. I'll be back tomorrow. Peace.
Uh-oh, I think we got the trade. The Wizards are trading Austin Rivers and Kelly Oubre to the Suns. Kelly Oubre is going to the Suns.
That's decent.
But they got so many wings,
That's
though.
decent. That's
They got
decent.
so many. So I'm really going to be rocking this Suns
That's
shirt.
decent. That's raw.
So Austin
The
Rivers-
live update. All right, let's talk about it.
When the
Literally
Wizards-
live
when
update.
the Wizards get back.